Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Arkham Horror, the living card game, and Night of the Zealot, where we're currently on scenario 3, the Devourer below, and this is episode 15 and we're soon to move into turn 24, not turn 22 or whatever I thought I was on at the end of the previous episode. This is going to be turn 24. For a change, we've got no errors from last turn, probably because it was a shortened turn and we didn't do as much. I'm sure I will do my best to get something wrong during this episode, but as we stand, we're okay. So let's get straight into turn 24 and the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase. So first things first, doom. So we're up to 3. Fortunately, we don't have to flip the agenda just yet. We are due to do that on our next turn. But you never know. Right, so that is the agenda and the doom sorted out. So it's let's pick a laugh and chuckle card time. First up we have Roland, and he gets Dissonant Voices, Treachery card, Terror. Revelation, put Dissonant Voices into play in your threat area. You cannot play assets or events. Forced, at the end of the round, discard Dissonant Voices. Well, this isn't too bad because it's not like we have somebody who is trying to eat our faces or anything like that. So we'll put up with that in our threat area. Perhaps you ought to get rid of all this rubbish. It's getting in the way. Let's put it over here. Put it all over there. Especially the pins before I stab myself with them. Okay, so we've got Dissonant Voices. That's okay. What is Wendy going to pick? She has got, she's got this Rotting Remains. I hope she does better than Roland did. Terror. Revelation. Test willpower 3. For each point you fail, take 1 horror. A sickening display of gore causes you to retch. You're glad this wasn't you. Well, at least this time, if we have to take some horror, she has got an ally, just like Roland had, but I forgot about Beat Cop and didn't put a horror on him. But she does have Leo DeLuca, so if she does fail, we do have somewhere to get rid of at least a single horror. So let's sort this out. So that is 3. She's got a willpower of 4. Are we going to chuck anything at it? Yes. We're going to put Dig Deep in. We're going to commit Dig Deep. So that will make it -2 or better. I just do not want to lose any horror. And we get this bloody -5. I haven't stopped pulling it since it went in. And, well, I don't want to lose another. I'm going to have to play Manual Dexterity to pick it out again. You know, to use a special ability. Because otherwise I'd be losing, like, a ridiculous amount of horror. I'd be losing 3 horror. And we get a +1 now. So she's got no cards whatsoever. So we are not doing too great. Right, so there we go. She hasn't got a card to her name apart from the one she's already got in play. That is the end of the Mythos phase. So next up we have the Investigation phase. And here we are at the investigation phase. Our first player is going to be Roland. Now, one of the things he can do, even though Dissonant Voice is in play, is to investigate, and that's what he's going to do. If you remember the Tangled Thicket, probably because it's tangled and difficult to get through, it's actually a strength test to find anything. You must be, you know, using his machete to get in there and find something that's hidden in the underbrush. So that's what he's going to try and do. So he is going to do a strength test in order to investigate. So it is 2 shroud. He has got 4. So we need a -2 or better. And we've got a broken tablet, which is appalling, I believe. That's -3. If there is a monster enemy, take 1 damage. Well, there isn't. So that's his first action. His second action is he's going to investigate again. And he gets a skull icon. Surely that's a pass at -2. Yeah, there's no monster enemies in play, so that's a 0. So at least we've got 1 for his second action. And for his third action, he is going to do exactly the same. -2 or better, and he gets an elder sign, which is actually a +1 because we've got a clue there. So 3 actions, and he's managed to get 2 clues. We now have 4 clues, so that isn't too bad. I did want him to sort of move back to the main path. The reason for that is, in order to investigate these 2 other locations, we have to go back to the main path first, because these 2 locations are only connected to the main path. Until we get the locations out and check their sort of check if they've got any paths between themselves, we don't know. So the only way that we can get to these 2 is to go back to the main path first. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that with poor old Roland, but we've got all the clues from the old house, so we will send Wendy on a bit of an exploration, I think. So talking about Wendy, let's get across to her player area. And here we are with Wendy. Now ideally I'd like to pull 3 cards here. Because I've been pulling so appallingly from the chaos bag, I've been having to spend loads and loads of cards, and she's got absolutely none here in her hand. But I'm also aware that we've got to explore this, you know, the woods as quickly as possible. So a first action, she's going to move. So she goes back here to the main path. Then for her second action, she is going to go to this third part of the woods here. So let's have a look. We've seen the front, they're all the same. So let's reveal it. Whoop, there goes my phone. Arkham Woods, Quiet Glade. Oh, this is nice. 1. Oh, it's no clues, damn. So, but there's only 1 shroud. As an action, heal 1 damage or heal 1 horror, limit once per turn. This would be a nice picnic spot if it weren't for all the monsters. Well, the bad thing about it is we can't get any clues off it. So that is appalling, because I was hoping to pick the last 2, you know, get 2 clues again and pick 2 up. But we can't. Let's check. I'll put it down and check if we've got any paths going to any other areas. Won't be a moment. Okay, there we are. So there was actually there was a path directly to there, but we couldn't find it without going back to the main path first. So we went back to the main path, then we went to the Quiet Glade. Well, is there any point staying in the Quiet Glade? We don't need to heal anything, and we've still got 2 actions. So let's use our 2 actions to find out exactly what this place is. We desperately need to find somewhere with more clues. So we'll use 1 action, and she'll go back to the main path, and she will use her final action and turn up here. So let's have a look at our final spot. So exactly the same on the front, we flick it over, and we've got Arkham Woods, the cliffside. Shroud of 2, thank God we're going to get the 2 clues we need. Location Woods. This location is investigated by using agility instead of the skill indicated by the investigation attempt. Just the thing for Wendy. Unfortunately, she's not going to be able to do it this turn, but at least she'll be there ready. Atop a nearby plateau, you can see the signs of cultist activity. You'll have to climb the cliff in order to reach the top. Right, I shall put this down, put the clues on it, and we'll do the thing to see whether it's connected to anywhere else. And there we go, eventually managed to sort it out. So here she is at cliffside. So what we've got is we've got the main path, which is connected to all 4 woods locations. Out on its own is the old house. That's only connected to the main path. The tangled thicket is attached to the main path and to the quiet glade. The quiet glade is attached to the tangled thicket, obviously, and the cliffside. So all these are interconnected, and this one is sort of out on its own. So that is the way that everything works out, I think. So there we go, got there in the end. Right, so we've got Roland at the tangled thicket, and we have Wendy at cliffside. Okie dokie. That is the end of the investigation phase. We've used up all our actions, so let's move into the enemy phase. And here we are at the enemy phase, but we've got no enemies, which is good to start with, but now I'm getting a bit worried. Why? Because we'll probably get a load of enemies right near the end, so we are going to have to get a bit of a move on, but at least we've investigated everything. So we've turned everything over, we've revealed every location, we've got 2 clues to get, so it's not looking too bad, really, except for the fact we're probably going to get a load of monsters coming down the chute anytime soon. Right, so let's move on to the upkeep phase. And here we are at the upkeep phase. So first things first, let's get our actions back. There we go. Do we have any exhausted cards that need to be refreshed? We do not. So we pick a card each. So card for Roland, and he gets Vicious Blow. So we saw this last time, the other time. Hopefully I'll play it right this time and commit it before I draw a token out of the bag. But it's a skill. It's got 1 combat icon there. Practiced. If this skill test is successful during an attack, that attack deals +1 damage. So, good card. So we'll put that there. Next, we have an extra card for Wendy, and she needs cards. We're going to have to do something about this. She thrives on having cards, but we keep having to spend them. What's this? Will to Survive. Oh, that's the upgraded one we got the other round. So, cost of 4 event. It's got a combat and a wildcard icon. Will to Survive. Spirit. Fast. Play only during your turn. Until the end of your turn, do not reveal chaos tokens or any skill tests you perform. So basically, if you play this and you do any skill tests, it's like you're pulling a 0 token out of the bag for every skill test. So we'll have to remember that. We will put that here. But that's a good one to have, especially because she hasn't got any other cards. So if we get into a situation where we've got a string, you know, the possibility of getting a few successes together, we can use that in lieu of the fact that we've got no cards. Righto, so that is the card. So next up it is resources. So 1 resource for Wendy puts her up to 2, and 1 for Roland puts him up to 3. Excellent stuff. That is the end of the upkeep phase. So let's whiz straight into turn 25, where we're going to get an extra Doom token, and we're going to find out what horrendous thing is on the other side of that agenda. But before we do that, we're going to get rid of dissonant voices. It's the end of the round. Haha, just remembered, in time. So we'll get rid of that. Now we'll zoom in for the Mythos phase of turn 25. And here we are at the Mythos phase. Right, so we pick up a Doom token. Oh, it's going to be 4, and 4 is going to flip our agenda. So let's pick them all up, because we'll have to read what the second one says. But here we go, the Arkham Woods. So we've hit 4, we've got to flick it over. And we get death to the intruders, which isn't very encouraging. Throughout the woods, a shrieking cry echoes. From somewhere deeper in the forest, a score of hideous voices answer the call, inhuman as the baying of hounds and yet articulate, repeating a singular name. Umordoth, Umordoth, Umordoth. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Well, that's okay, because the encounters haven't been too bad. And discard cards from the top until a monster enemy is discarded. Spawn that enemy at the main path, then place 1 doom on that enemy. Right, let's do that. So, that's our discard pile. Put it in with the encounter deck, give it a shuffle. Just after Iggy said, "You don't drop cards anymore." There you go, that one was for you, Iggy. Right, there we go, and we'll do that. Right, we've got to go through. Let's get rid of some real horrible cards here before we get to a monster, please. Rotting Remains, well, that's not too bad. Dissonant Voices, these are ones that we got rid of before. Mysterious Chanting, we don't like that one. A Young Deep One. What's this? Oh, we know which deck we pick now. Hang on. Won't be a second. Sorry about that, had to have a coughing fit. It's returned. Young Deep One. So we know we've got the Cthulhu, the, what were they? Avatars of Cthulhu, whatever they were, because we've got a Deep One. So combat 3, health 3, agility 3, humanoid monster, Deep One. Prey, whoever's got the lowest strength, which is, no, it's Wendy. It's a hunter as well, damn it. Forced, after Young Deep One engages you, take 1 horror. So we don't like this guy. We do not like this guy. So he's come out. Those were discarded. Let's just check what the Young Deep One has to do. Spawn the enemy at the main path, so at least it doesn't directly go to Wendy, and then we've got to place 1 doom on it. We'll move it to the other side. There we go. Right, so it's there. We have a doom. Doom clock resets, so we're now at 1 o'clock. We can get rid of this agenda, so we'll put it to the back, and we will read the new agenda. So, the ritual begins, Agenda 2A. Umordoth, Umordoth, Umordoth. The chanting builds in intensity, echoing into the cold air of the night. The sparse clouds in the sky coalesce above the Arkham woods, blotting out the faint light of the stars. Each enemy gets +1 fight and +1 evade. Well, that's fantastic. So, so it's got 4 combat. That is bad. And we've got 5 doom that we can have. Remember, we're already on 1. So I think good old Roland has got some fish killing to do. So that is our new agenda. The ritual begins. Righto, so that is now the end of the laugh and chuckle phase. So next up we have the investigation phase. And here we are at the investigation phase. Once again, we're going to start with our friend Roland. What Roland's going to do is he's going to move. Let's kill this thing quickly. So he's going to move here to the main path. Immediately, he's engaged by the Young Deep One. So that was his first action. For his second sort of non-action, so not actually doing an action, he's going to exhaust Beat Cop. Beat Cop is going to take 1 damage. So O'Malley has took one for the team, but that is also going to put 1 damage onto the young deep one. Then we are going to use our actual second action, because the reason we did that was just to show you. Got the free squiggle there. Exhaust beat cop, deal 1 damage to it, then deal 1 damage to the enemy. So that's what we've done. Second action, I'm wondering whether to use a bullet on the deep one. It's quite a tough monster, it's not like an acolyte or anything. So I think we will use the automatic on it. Or should I just use the machete? I'll use the, actually I'm going to use the machete because it's, yeah, it's the only prey, not the only prey, it's the only monster that's here. So that means we do get the bonus off machete. So fight, we're going to fight for an action with the machete. We're going to gain +1 combat for this attack. If the attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged, which it is, the attack deals +1 damage. We are also going to commit Vicious Blow at the correct time, which is now. So Vicious Blow is being committed. So if we get a hit, what that will mean... Oh, was this something we had to do when it engages? After the deep one engages you, take 1 horror. That 1 horror is being took by O'Malley. He's got 2. He can take 2. So we've got to do that because like he's on 3. So this is another reason why we've got to kill it. So as soon as we engaged it, we should have took 1 horror. We have done. We've given it to O'Malley. Then we've exhausted O'Malley. He's took a hit, and the young deep ones took a hit. We have committed Vicious Blow. We're using the machete, so that's +1. 4, that's 5. This has got +1, so it's -1 or better, I believe. Is there anything else we're going to chuck at it? There's nothing else we can chuck at it, unfortunately. So we need a -1 or better. Do I get the... I don't think I get the +1 for the automatic because we're not using it. So... Come on, -1 or better. A 0. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! That is fantastic, because that means Roland himself gives 1 damage. We get another damage for the machete, and we get a 3rd damage for Vicious Blow. That adds up to 4. Brilliant. Did we get a victory point? We didn't get a victory point. Ah, it's a disgrace. But anyway, not too bad. At least we've got rid of this guy. So that can go into the discard pile. It means a doom disappears as well. So we'll sort that out. Whoop. So back to 0 doom. Yeah, excellent. Great job. And we've still got 1 action. I'm wondering what to do with his single action now. Should he go and join... Oh, I know what he's going to do. He's going to go to the... Is it the Calm Glade? Whatever it's called. Let's just check it out. The Quiet Glade. Then for an action next turn, he can heal a horror. So, yes, good plan. Excellent plan. Okay, so that is what Roland has done. That was his 3rd action. So, excellent stuff. He's just gone and macheted a young deep one. Brilliant. Right, that means it's Wendy's go. So, let's pop across. Right, here we are with Wendy. Well, we've got to pick these clues up. So, that's what we're going to go for. We've got a Shroud of 2. And I forgot to put 2 clues on. Duh. Tell us about the rabbits, George. Which way did they go? Right. So we've got to pick up these 2 clues that I forgot to put on. And that will get us up to 4. That's right, isn't it? We got 2 clues from the tangled thicket, 2 clues from the old house, so there must be 2 clues on cliffside. Righto. So it's -2 or better. Come on. And we get a -2. Gives us 3. Well, she's got 3. We've got 5 in total. Come on, another -2 or better. Let's be having it. A -4. Rubbish. Do we throw our final card, which is a really good one, in order to redraw? So, 1, 2. Are we going to do it? No, we're not. We've got 2. We've got 2 actions left. So we're going to try again. -2 or better. -1. We get that final clue. We have got 1 action left. Let's just check the act. Oh, it's not an action to spend the clues. Doesn't look like it to me. There's no action symbol. So as soon as you get 6, like we've got now, I don't think it's an action to spend them, because it'd say spend, wouldn't it? I think as soon as you reach 6, this is met. The condition is met and we just flip it over. So we don't even have to spend an action. Let's flip it over. Unveiling the plan. Scattered throughout the forest, you've seen glyphs and arcane sigils in various places, etched into the bark of trees, carved upon the faces of stones, and dripped in blood upon the ground. Though you cannot decipher these glyphs, you notice that most of them tend to face south. Following these signs leads you by twists and turns towards a cave in the darkest and coldest part of the forest. As you advance, shadowy figures emerge from the trees, blocking the only path to the cave. Put the set-aside ritual site into play if it is not already in play. Right. Search the collection for each enemy recorded in your campaign log under cultists who got away. And spawn those enemies at the main path. Right. So we've got Ruth Turner. So she's got 2 combat, she's got 4 health and 5 agility, so she's pretty difficult to get by. So she's in our way. I don't think we can use this anymore. I think we've just got a fighter. Somebody can let me know about that. I'll check myself, but I don't think you can like try and evade her to get her on your team and get a victory point. I don't think so anymore. Same with Herman Collins. Humanoid cultist spawn. Graveyard obviously not, because he's going to the main path. And I don't think we can discard 4 cards to parley with him either. I think now we just have to fight. He's got a combat of 3. He's also got a health of 4. And he has an agility of 4. So I think these 2 have to die. But no finer point in it. So put them on the main path, where they will be waiting for us. At least we don't have to put any doom or anything on them. Now would be a good time to find something like Dynamite Blast. I can't help but think. And we've got to put the ritual site into play. Well, this is the ritual site. So, unrevealed side. It's a cave. The last central chamber of a cold dark cavern, adorned with arcane markings and dimly lit by candlelight. Woo! Look at it. Woo! So there we go. What is it attached to? It's only attached to the main. So I'll set this up, won't be a second. Well, that was a tremendous amount of faffing around. I hope you can see what's happening. So the ritual site can only, like the old house, you can only get to it from the main path. Which it makes sense. It means you've got to go through these 2 guys to actually get there. So that's how I have had to do it. Just slight rearrangement. But so you can get from the main path to the tangled thicket, which will take you through the quiet glade. And you can also get from the Quiet Glade to the cliff side. The two outliers are the actual ritual site itself and the old house. That you can only get to those from the main path. Right, so I think that is everything. Yep, so let's have a look at what the new act will be. And the new act is Into the Darkness. The remaining cultists have followed you into the woods to try and stop you, and now they block the path to your objective. They stand ominously beneath the overhanging trees, silent sentinels in the night. You must defeat them or sneak past if you are to gain access to the site of their ritual. Objective: if an investigator enters the ritual site, advance. So if we can get to the ritual site, we can advance. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Looking good. We still have an action left. So what are we going to do here? Well, if she moves back, they're just going to engage her, aren't they? And then the enemy phase is coming up, and that's bad. So we don't want her to do that. She could go back to the Quiet Glade, meet up with Roland. Would that do anything? Not particularly. So I think what we'll do is we'll use that final action to gain a card. We may as well. We don't have enough cards, but this should be pretty useful. What are their agility? Agility of 4, agility of 5. So we'd need, yeah, we might need an agility card to be able to throw away so that we can get past at least Ruth. Or maybe we'll just chuck. We'll just chuck our friend Roland, chuck him in there and see if he can cause any problems. But first of all, let's get this card. Just one, not two. Excuse me, I just had to cough. Emergency cash, so gain 3 resources. So I don't think we particularly need resources at the moment, but it might be an interesting card to use as a throwaway for her special ability. But I really do think she's going to need to get some cards, especially before, once we get to the ritual site, I imagine it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. So we could do with quite a few cards, I think, for Wendy. As I say, she's going to do the heavy lifting. We'll leave Roland back here to sort of kill stuff, if at all possible. Right, that is the end of her action, so that's the end of the investigation phase. Let's move on to the enemy phase. And here we are at the enemy phase. Now we've got 2 enemies, but neither of them are a hunter or anything like that, so they just stay there, they're waiting silently under those like ominous trees, waiting for somebody to turn up. So we're fine. That is it for the enemy phase, so let's go straight into the upkeep phase. And here we are at the upkeep phase. So first of all, get our actions back. Very good. Then we've got to unexhaust any cards, which is good old O'Malley here. So he is back on his feet, and that is it for that. It's draw a card time. So first up is Roland. That's 2 cards. We now have 1. Dynamite Blast. Oh! Got physical training. Cost 2, it's an asset. It's got a willpower and a combat icon. It's a talent. So if we put it into play, then as a free skill, we can spend 1 resource to get +1 willpower for a skill test. Or we can spend 1 resource to get +1 combat for a skill test. So not too bad, but Dynamite Blast would have been better. That would have been just ideal, because it is 1 away from the actual main path, so we could have just lobbed something in there. But never mind. Right, so that is it for Roland and his card. So next up it is Wendy and her card. And she gets, look what I found. Cost 2, it's an event. 2 intellect icons. Fortune, fast. Play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less while investigating. Discover 2 clues in your location. Well, this isn't really much good for us. Not much good for us now, but we'll keep it. We'll keep it. It's a good card. We may need clues when we get to the ritual site. In fact, if my memory serves me right, we will. So what we'll do, that may be an excellent card for later on. So we will put that there. We could do with something like backstab or elusive, something like that, which would help us get by these guys. But unfortunately, 'twas not to be. We may pull a few more cards when it's the investigation phase next turn. Right, so that is it for the upkeep. No, it isn't. We haven't finished for the upkeep phase, because she gets a resource and he gets a resource, and the other thing we've got to do is obviously we've got to spend these 6 clues that we used to do the agenda. So we've got no clues. As soon as that was flipped, we take those clues away, so we're right now. So that is the end of turn 25 of Arkham Horror, the living card game, Night of the Zealot. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the views, thanks for all the subscriptions, thanks for all the likes, and thank you to everybody for all the hints, tips and strategy. It is much appreciated. Thanks to everybody who's gone across to Board Game Links to upvote the site. Similarly, if you've been across to BGG, liked a video, liked a thread, or liked the Geek List, thank you very much. That is it for turn 25. How did it go? Pretty well. I think we've really cracked on. And we found the ritual site. We just need to kill these guys. I still think there's plenty of like nastiness in that encounter deck, but hopefully we will be able to get to the ritual site, get the final act over, see what it is, and start cracking on with it. I think we've got to find a set amount of clues, so that was perhaps a good card to find. Will to Survive is a good card, so I was thinking of using that to get past these 2 jokers, but I may keep it now for the ritual site. We will see. It's Wendy that's going to go to the ritual site. As I say, Roland, he's like a supporting player in this particular scenario. I think he's just going to try and kill him. So that's the plan for next turn. He goes in there, tries to kill them. Then she will try, if he doesn't kill them, she'll try and sneak by them. But we will try and get to the ritual site and get into that last act, I think. Righto, so brilliant. That is the end of turn 25, he says for the 3rd time, and I hope that you will join me for episode 16 of Arkham Horror, the living card game and Night of the Zealot, where we try to foil the plans of Umordoth. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.